1, 2, 3, let's go.
Wednesday afternoon, hoping you will tune into our show. It's hosted by Cuz.
Welcome back to the Alien Spaceship Talk Show podcast. And in case you're just joining us, you're listening to the Alien Spaceship Talk Show podcast with Emmy, Hikins and Trevor.
The boys, they were probably 10 or 12. They pretended to be stuck in these very narrow tunnels, and one way or another their father and others of their kids would manage to pull them out. So that was all a bit of a strange prediction almost, because in 2009 the family went back for Thanksgiving, and John and Josh, his brother, and others of their siblings, I'm not entirely sure how many there were, they said, let's go down to the Nutty Putty cave system. It was quite clear near to where they lived. So they went down there, and particularly John and Josh, they were sort of separated from the others, and they knew the caves quite well because it had all been mapped over the years. And they decided to go to a particular place where you had to go through a very narrow tunnel where you haul yourself along. Can you imagine? It's about a foot high, perhaps a bit more than that, but you can't stand or anything. You just got to force yourself along as best you can, sometimes having to breathe in to squeeze your body through the gap. I mean, it is the stuff that nightmares are made of. Anyhow, they were going, and they seemed to come to a bit of a fork in the cave. And John said, no, I think it's this way. Josh said, no, it's the other way. And they argued about it. So they said, well, okay, we'll both go and then come back and we'll see which one is right. So John went down his route, and he was actually wrong, because he got, if it's possible, he got narrower and narrower, such that he was then almost head first down in this cave. And it came to the point where he couldn't go any further. He thought it was where he was going to come out into a big open space, but he didn't. He was stuck, and he was pretty much upside down. So he thought, well, I need to try and get myself back. He couldn't move backwards at all. So he called and he called, and fortunately Josh could hear him. So Josh found his way back and got fairly close so that they could talk. And John said, look, I'm stuck. You'll have to get me out. Well, long story short here, really, but Josh was pulling him and all the rest of it, couldn't get him. He said, look, I'm going to have to go and get some help from the surface. So he said, I'll be back as soon as I can. And in the meantime, John stayed there, head down, really upside down. Not panicking, but feeling very, very uncomfortable. But anyway, they got some help, and I think it took 2 or 3 hours for the help to come. They had all sorts of machinery up there where they were going to try and pull him out with ropes. Initially, a paramedic went down, a lady, and was talking to him and saying, don't worry, we're going to get you out, and so on and so forth. Well, they tried 3 times to tie his ankles with the ropes. They had to even put some pins in the cave, and to try and get some leverage on him. They managed to pull him up a bit. Each time he slipped and went back down. Anyway, as I say, long story short, sort of 24 hours went by, and he was in and out of consciousness. And although they were trying to talk to him and reassure him, even though they thought we're not going to be able to get him out, he was in between panic when he came conscious again and just accepting it. Anyway, the absolute outcome was they couldn't get him out. And the cave itself had been closed a few times before. The local authorities hadn't wanted to reopen it, but local people said, no, we want to make the decision ourselves whether we go down there, and it was agreed they could.
We're going to take a short break now. We're back shortly. You've been listening to the Alien Spaceship Talk Show with Trevor and Emmy Hikins. The Alien Spaceship Talk Show podcast is looking for sponsors. If you're a company out there looking to spread the word about the products and services you provide, please get in touch with Deepstuff Radio Podcast on info@deepstuffrecords.com, or to use the contact form on our website to contact us, please visit radio.deepstuffrecords.com. Also, if you're looking to get involved on the Alien Spaceship Talk Show podcast, reach out via our Deepstuff Radio Facebook page. Thank you.
into our show. It's hosted by Cuz. The leader of our gang will make the show go with a bang and fund the aim of everything Cuz does.